Welcome to problem solving, but just before we get on to our next strategy, let's have a little bit of a joke. What do you say to a teacher if you get into trouble for not doing your homework? You don't know? Well, you should say, "You can't tell me off, sir, for something I didn't do." So today's problem solving that we're looking at is looking for patterns. What does looking for patterns mean? Patterns occur in many places, such as in fabric, if your mum goes and buys some fabric to buy a dress. The panels of a fence, which repeat, so along the fence between two houses. Or if you're looking at a bee's honeycomb, you've got all those little hexagon shapes. So when we're looking at numbers, we've got to look for a collection of numbers and see if there's any repeating numbers or numbers that are in relationship. And once we've found those numbers, what we're meant to do is group them. And obviously, if we're looking at a single group, what we can do is spot any changes that might occur to the result because of the pattern. And there's predominantly two types of changes. The change might be adding value, so each group, this is an example, each group might add 10 to the answer, or the opposite, the pattern or the group might actually remove value, so each group cancels each other out or deducts value from the result. So here's the first problem. Today we're going to look at three problems, but here's the first one. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 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 4. So we need to read our problem. Always start with reading. So we write it down, we write the question, what do I know? Well, I know that the numbers 1 plus 2 plus 3 can be grouped. It keeps repeating. That's our pattern. And so the best thing to do in maths is to actually put brackets around them, and I always use a different colour to actually see them clearly. So that's what I've done. I've used a bracket around each of those groups. But also I know that at the end of that pattern I have a plus 4 outside of a group. So obviously what I want to find out is the answer. So here we go. How many groups do I have? So I need to count them. Let's have a look. So I've got my brackets, so let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I've got 5 groups. Obviously what I do, once I know I've got 5 groups, I'm going to find out what does one group do. So I add them all up. 1 plus 2 plus 3, so 1 plus 2 is 3, plus another 3 is 6. So then I times 6 by 5, which gives me 30. Don't forget, however, that at the end, remember what I know is at the end I've got a plus 4, so the answer is 34, not 30, 34. In the second problem, it's a little bit different. Here's the problem. The first step I do is read. So here it is. 1/5 plus 1/10 minus 1/10 plus 1/20 minus 1/20 plus 1/30 minus 1/30. What do I know? The first thing I know is the first fraction, 1/5, has no partner. There's no matching fraction. However, all the other fractions have a partner. Fractions with partners have a positive and negative matching fraction. So for example, plus 10 has a minus 10. And what I can do with that, well, what I want to find out before we do anything is the result. But this is different. This is actually deducting value. As I group them, I haven't put brackets around them. This time I've actually crossed them off. So if you have a positive, say I have 1, 1, minus 1 will always give you nothing. And it's the same with these fractions. So I've got plus 1/10 minus 1/10. It's going to give me 0. So what I can do is actually, as you can see, I've put a red cross through them. And because each of the grouped patterns are the same, I can actually cross them all off, because 1/20 minus 1/20 will give me nothing, and 1/30 minus 1/30 will give me nothing. So they're all crossed off. And obviously the answer, what's left over, which is outside the pattern, is 1/5. And the last problem or example we're looking at today is counting numbers. So the first thing I do is read the problem. So count the numbers between 1 to 100. Now, it's going to take me ages to do that. I'll be here until dinner. I don't want to be here until dinner. What I'm going to suggest we use is a little method from this guy called Gauss. He lived a couple of hundred years ago, but his lovely math teacher decided one day, I'm going to keep these kids in for a while, I'm going to get them counting, and actually asked them to do that, to count the numbers between 1 to 100, and it's going to take them probably over an hour to work that out. Well, Gauss, he had something, he was ready for his teacher. He came up with a special method. So here's the method. There are basically two steps. The first step is in red. Add the highest number with the lowest number. So our highest number is 100. Our lowest number is 1, so that's our range from 1 to 100. So the highest 100 plus 1 the lowest, which gives me 101. Then multiplied by half the number of numbers. So Gauss was a very smart little boy. Okay, so there are 100 numbers in total, so half the number, 100 divided by 2 equals 50. So what I do is I times 101 times half those numbers, so 101 times 50, which gives me the overall answer. So I've literally counted numbers 1 to 100. So the answer is 5050. Enjoy Gauss's method.